So again, let's dive in. We're going to talk about how to present yourself when you're networking, interviewing, talking with someone. Do you know how to present yourself in a way that's clear and concise and memorable? Let's start with first getting to know who I am. Jamie Chambron, and I help professionals make career and business breakthroughs through education and coaching and how to make the intangible tangible. And so, what I am here today to do is to help you make your experiences, your skills, your strengths tangible through your personal brand. So, let's first align on what a personal brand is. Then let's talk about how to articulate, why it's hard to articulate your personal brand. Then we're going to go through and understand how do you develop it. Then where you start recommendations and to discuss some of the results my clients have had and some potential next steps and how I can help you move forward in clarifying and building your personal brand. So with that, let's dive on in. So a personal brand is all your intentions and conscious effort to influence others' perspective of you so that you're being positioned as a subject matter expert in your industry, you're elevating your credibility, it differentiates you, and it's going to help you advance your career, your influence, your impact, right? So it's everything you intentionally do to show that you are the authority, that you're different from others, and how you're credible in what you do. That is what we're talking about today. Within a brand, there are different components. There are what I consider brand elements, and then also brand assets. And so the elements are the building blocks of what make up the assets. We got to know what your story is, your skills you've gained over your career, all those different experiences. We need to capture and articulate the value and outcomes you've delivered. Then we got to figure out what's your brand promise, what's your superpower, and then what are the points of view you're bringing to the table. We can then compose and recompose those to create your resume. Personal brand's going to be all over your LinkedIn profile. It's going to be in a cover letter. It's going to be the talking points you use to move yourself forward. If you don't have a personal brand, haven't figured it out, it's going to be really hard to tell someone what you do for who and the value you provide. You're going to ramble. People aren't going to be able to help you get to where you're going. Recruiters won't make a call or reach out to you because they don't understand what you do, and in the end your reputation gets lost. But if you have a brand, it's going to help you be clear in articulating what you do. If you've worked on it in the right way, it's going to differentiate you from others. It's going to help you stand out. It's going to build your credibility. It's going to help you be more confident in talking with others about what you do. And you're going to grow your network. Love this quote because at the end of the day, you're the only person who can sell you. And so you've got to get clear on, your own value proposition, what your brand is, to be able to sell yourself to others, want to talk to you, want to hire you, want to be part of someone's network. So why is it so hard to articulate a personal brand? So how does someone, especially with 20, 30 years of experience, really distill all of those great accomplishments into a one-liner? I serve who to get what results by doing what? How do you do that? How do you take the skills, the experiences, the story, and distill it to something someone really easily can understand, be it in a conversation, be it online? How do you make that super easy? So how do we then go about developing your brand? What's the process to do that? So first, we need to inventory all of our experiences, the value and the outcomes we've delivered in our career. So thinking about, how you generated more revenue, save costs, streamline processes, like what are all the things you've done that a hiring manager would be interested in hearing about? What's your story? Where you've been? What are the things you've done? What do you love doing? What do others say about yourself? And then, harvesting all those skills, those strengths. What are the things you want to really lean into as you go forward in your career? As you reflect and think about your experiences, you then need to work on understanding what is the one thing that is going to differentiate you from others. So, you get things done faster than others. Maybe you see opportunities others don't. You connect people better than others. You gain rapport better quickly than others. You make the intangible tangible. Or you create experiences that attract attention away from others. What is it that you do that is better than anyone else? So to get to drafting your brand promise, we need to, start with reviewing all that great experience. What stands out to you? Do you see recurring patterns? Is there something unique? Is there something big? Review your background to highlight a few things that really stand out to you to go, I think I'm the only one that does that. Pick a focus area. What's the biggest thing you've done? What do you want to do? Maybe you haven't done it yet. Where do you see those patterns of repeated success? What's resonating? And once you kind of put all these focus areas and thinking, then you got to draft a few options. Read it. Do you feel like you can confidently say it? Try it out. Ask a few friends for feedback. Go to a networking event and use your brand promise. Start talking with people and see if it naturally fits who you are and how you want to position yourself to start. Again, back to selling yourself and getting those first impressions out there, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So make sure it's one that will set you apart, build trust, and reflect who you are. Again, why personal branding is super important and that you've done it in a very thoughtful way. So where do you start? Number one place to start is really gaining clarity on who you are and the value you've provided. And so these are the steps I go through with my clients in working on their personal brand. So, back to that inventory, reflection, maybe taking some assessments around strengths, values, really reflecting on one's past and and potential future. Doing research. Are there people you admire that you like their personal brand? It's similar to where you're going or something you aspire to be. Then you got to plan, do your homework, map out when you're going to get done and putting the pieces together. Really dig into the value and outcomes you've provided. Most people, when they articulate what they have done in their career, they're talking job duties versus real value that they've delivered in their career so far. Then you got to put a bow on it, wrap it up, get that brand put together, get that one sentence personal brand promise clean, and then you start talking to people. You sell yourself, you pitch it, go to a networking event, go into an interview, say your one-liner, and that should then spark a further conversation to have a few other talking points in mind of those great experiences and successes you've had in your career to date. So how I work with people is we work through a craft process where we want to, again, curate all of these strengths, outcomes, do that inventory. We're going to rough out what a brand promise will look like, rely on it, finish it up, do some optimization work. And then, part of the process is to educate you on how to use your brand, how to keep it updated, how to keep it fresh. So getting to going forward, I've helped a number of people get to where they want to be in, the brand is just the stepping stone to get you a conversation going, to get an interview, to land a new opportunity. And so I'm here to help with gaining clarity, accelerating where you're going in your career, getting you in the right mindset, planning, having a plan for where you're going, getting you to where you have the right compensation and telling the right story. I've had a number of people work with me specifically on their branding that tied to their resume, their LinkedIn profile, etc. You know, most of them you see here, Cheryl started getting, and I have another one recently I worked with that started getting interviews within 2 to 3 weeks of having a clean story and brand in place with the resume and LinkedIn. It was really hard for Humphrey to articulate his story on a piece of paper. We cleaned it up, got his first paying gig within a month. Had another client recently wanted to elevate his brand promise and get a new executive role quickly again. Once he went through the branding process with me, he uncovered hidden strengths that he focused in on to land a new executive opportunity. And that was landed that opportunity in less than 2 months. Lucas, again, went through the thought-provoking assignments to redo his brand to position him for C-suite. I've had another client get a 50% increase in using the right story. And then lastly, I had a client who used his background and what was transferable to build a new brand to leap him out of packaged goods into a tech career. So the process works, what I do works in getting out there and uncovering new opportunities and building. So if you're interested in working with me, and I'll have another opportunity to work with me coming up, I do personal branding work. I also do an end-to-end career advancement program, which is not just the personal branding with resume, cover letter, scripts to help you. It's also education and guidance on the process to get you from where you are to a new career opportunity. It's also one-on-one coaching, weekly office hours, and I do it in different formats, just depending on what you're looking for in terms of how much hand-on help. Live group session will start off again in January, and so people are currently enrolling in the self-study. Again, winter cohort, January, the Career Transition Advancement Accelerator, 6 weeks. We're going to go through what you need to get from clarity on your career to getting to a new opportunity. I also run a 45-day career breakthrough program, also kicking off again in January, where we're going to hit through what you need to elevate your career, get to that next level of leadership, and to get through the topics that often hold you back, from communication to imposter syndrome and being a better talent and development leader. Those 2 programs will start in January. So, be it working with me or not, let's get you going and working on improving your brand. Branding is about what people say about you when you are not in the room. So make sure your message is what you want it to be and it's impactful. For that, ways you can connect with me to get further assistance, you can always message me on LinkedIn directly. I do have a Calendly, and I'll post these in my comments for the session. You can meet with me one-on-one if you'd like to learn more, or talk with me about how you've been positioning yourself. And then I will be holding a personal branding and networking roundtable in a few weeks. And I have limited spots for that. So if you are interested to actually have a dialogue and meet some other people who are wanting to network and build their personal brand, we're going to do a roundtable to discuss that on November 17th. So with that, thank you for dealing with technical difficulties. This will be recorded and posted online as well. So I thank you for those who stuck it out and listened to the full stream. And again, feel free to reach out to me if you need anything else. Look forward to working with you.